After a fierce battle, the Georgia governor's race finally over, kinda, with Brian Kemp winning by 55,000 votes. His opponent, though, Stacey Abrams, conceding the race, but not exactly accepting the results.
It was not a free and fair election. We had thousands of Georgians who were purged from the rolls wrongly. It was not fair to the thousands that were put on hold with their registrations. Brian Kemp oversaw for 8 years the systematic and systemic dismantling of our democracy, and that means there could not be free and fair elections in Georgia this year.
What an accusation. Here to react in his first national TV interview since winning the governor's race is Governor-elect, soon-to-be former Secretary of State for Georgia, Brian Kemp. Governor, you won by 55,000 votes, but clearly Stacey Abrams is not accepting it. Basically, it seems like she's saying you cheated by canceling 1.4 million people off voter rolls since 2011. What's your reaction?
Well, you know, look, Brian, I'm moving on. I'm the governor-elect. The election's been certified. This is indeed over, and I'm looking forward to serving hard-working Georgians, and that includes all of them, by the way. But look, it's unfair for her to blame, especially local elections officials that are following the law when it comes to these things for registration, how things are conducted on Election Day. In Georgia, we have secure, accessible, fair elections. We make it easy to vote and hard to cheat. And we saw the easy to vote part. We had 1.4 million more voters in this election than we did in the last governor's race, a historic turnout. We have 1 million more people on the rolls because I pushed for and implemented online voter registration where people could register to vote 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If my opponent and her activist groups had used the online system, they wouldn't have had as many problems as they did with folks that they were registering. And by the way, the pending list, my daughter was one of those folks on the pending list because she was 17 and a half when she registered, and you have to be 18 to be on the list. So the day she turned 18, she came off pending, went on the voter rolls, and she voted for me on November the 6th. So the process worked down here. We're proud of that. You know, nobody's questioning the Democrats' wins, knocking off one of our congresswomen in the state of Georgia. They're not questioning the local races that they won. So this is really just political rhetoric, but that's in the past. I'm moving forward and looking forward to governing our great state.
She says that you set up less polling locations, especially in urban areas.
Well, that's just a mistruth. The county elections officials, the local elections boards have the sole responsibility for how many polling locations they have and where they are. That has been the rule of law and the way it works in Georgia under Republican and Democrat secretaries of state. So that's just not true. And by the way, the one county that this was an issue with before the election, they are controlled by Democrats. You know, so she's blaming me for a problem that they created. It's just ridiculous. And people didn't buy it in this election, which is why I got the most votes ever in a Georgia governor's race.
She also says this exact match law didn't work on to her behalf. What is the exact match law?
Well, look, we have laws on the books in Georgia, and I know she may not like some of the laws, but we take an oath of office, and the county elections officials have a duty to follow the law and the elections rules that we have in our state, and we check citizenship. We require people to show a photo ID when they go vote, and we verify this information before people go on the voter rolls. But, you know, if people had simply used the online system where you just put your driver's license information in, they could get registered to vote. 75% of the people on this list, Brian, could not fill out the last four of their social. Governor, she's blaming me and local elections officials for that. It's ridiculous.
Right, and she is, to her credit, pushing back on Hollywood, who wants to boycott your state because they think this whole election was on the up and up. So give Stacey Abrams credit for that. Congratulations
Absolutely.
to you, Governor. You won by 55,000 votes
guys.
and the biggest turnout, one of the biggest turnouts ever. Thanks so much.